My name is Maneet. I graduated last year. I go to Columbia University in New York, and I took two of Mr. Galbraith's classes while I was in high school. It was very hard. The classes were a lot different, especially because you have a lot of free time. And if you don't use that free time effectively, you can end up getting behind. I noticed that in high school, there was a lot of reinforcement of concepts that you'd studied. You'd get to, think about the same things for an entire week and repeatedly study them and have it reinforced in your memory. But in college, you kind of just learn a thing in one class period and you're expected to know it. And that was a little bit different. But I did find that the rigor at Sunset prepared me fairly well, and I ended up doing well. So all around, it was a different experience, but rewarding. At Sunset, one of the reasons I wanted to make this video is because I think that Mr. Galbraith's classes are hands down like the single most valuable classes I've taken in high school and possibly in my life. And I'm not joking when I say that. I think a lot of the things that are traditionally glossed over in a typical high school curriculum are taught in Mr. Galbraith's class, and I think it's 2016 now, and it really kids that are really young are learning to program, and if you're one of those kids that can write code, you suddenly have opportunities in a vast majority of the job market that was unavailable to you. But not just that, you can understand how the technology you're constantly using every day actually works. And that's a really fulfilling thing, to look at a computer and say, oh, I know what's going on inside of this thing, or I know that it's using virtual memory, or I know this is how a processor is working behind the scenes. And the other cool thing I love about it is I can build things, and I really like building things. I could build apps, websites now. I can maybe program a little robot. I can go to hackathons and build stuff with my friends. It's really incredible. And I think fundamentals are important in your education, math, science, etc. Computer science is certainly up there just because of how widespread technology is right now. So I honestly, I'm being iconoclast here by going against the grain, but I actually question the value of the IB Diploma a little bit. And the reason I say this is because you can take the classes and not do the diploma. And a lot of colleges don't accredit the diploma quite the way that it's intended to be. So you can at my school, for example, they are very stingy on what they accept as credit. So it ends up not really mattering in the long run, unless you are planning to stay in state at certain universities, and not at all in-state universities, certain ones, or you're planning to go abroad where it's more recognized, then it might be more valuable to you. As far as the classes go, I recommend taking them, but I think there's this pressure to take as many IB classes as you possibly can, make yourself competitive, but I really think people should step back and look at the greater picture as far as what skills you're managing to learn. I think that taking classes like Java programming and data structures at Sunset are incredibly valuable because you'll have a huge head start over your peers if you ever choose to do programming or any software engineering kind of discipline. And you'll always be able to use those skills in a lot of disciplines now because even economists, scientists, mathematicians are using code and modeling to build things. Yeah, so I already answered that, I guess, but I really do think Java programming and data structures are really useful because I really do like the project-based framework, especially for someone who's learning code for the first time. You finally get to see yourself build something, and it's not abstract where you're learning about theory. Like, okay, here's here's how you calculate time complexity. No, it's more like I have this program here that I built. It creates a game where I can move from room to room called Zool. And I think seeing that is much more inspiring than anything. You can always go back and learn more math and theory-based concepts earlier, but once you've developed that inspiration and excitement, everything I think just follows suit. Surprising. I mentioned this earlier and kind of alluded to it, I guess, is the amount of free time. It's off the wall. Like you're in class at sunset, you know, from I believe like 7:45 to 2:30. No, it's no longer like that. You have maybe 2 or 3 classes a day on a good day. Each one is maybe like 75 minutes. Recitations are optional, that sort of thing. It's really like maybe less than 15 hours a week, sometimes less than 10 hours a week if in class time. So you're doing a lot on your own. And again, I really think like Mr. Galbraith's class is very much structured like a college class in that you're given time to work on your project, which is what you'll end up be doing, you know, outside of class all the time anyways. So yeah, another plus there. Again, I keep rehashing this, but learning how to write code and read code is so incredibly useful. And I cannot even begin to describe the number of ways in which you can, benefit from that knowledge. Looking at websites, looking at apps, building things for things in different classes even. In my math classes, we use MATLAB, and I had a huge head start because I could model things with MATLAB already because I was familiar with programming syntax. I guess another really important thing is kind of working in a team. In college, when you do programming projects, you'll sometimes have like a group to work with. And we had done that a lot in Mr. Galbraith's class. It was really easy to pick up and understand like version control frameworks and work with other people because of some of those experiences.